It's that season again. Pigskin fever sets in. It's time for the NFL on Fox and NBC and ESPN. Or in Canada, TSN and Sportsnet and CTV, but that doesn't matter. You know where to find football. It's going to be everywhere. American football, very much loved by our friends to the south and all our friends up here to the north. We're coming off
so many northern friends.
So many northern friends up there in the Yukon. We're going to cover every single NFL team this year, and we're also going to predict the Super Bowl. It's going to be full-on.com. On the East Coast, Canada, we got Matty Vaughn. How you doing, Matty?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Doing well. Alex Vaughn, also joining from the same coast. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm coming to you from just north of Seattle in Vancouver this year. Seattle, of course, the reigning NFL Super Bowl champions after a decisive 43-8 victory back in February.
By a wide margin.
By a wide margin out there.
Margin.
First points of the game being scored on a safety, and Vegas oddmakers made or lost a lot of money on that. But that's all in the past. Last year...
That happened in the Pats Super Bowl, too. The second one against the Giants. That was the first...
Was that the first time it happened?
First score of the game.
Oh, it was first score of the game.
I don't know, but somebody makes that. I remember reading somewhere that some friend somewhere makes that bet every year, and 2 out of 3 years it paid off.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably not. Well, I don't know.
I mean, you
enough
can pay
about
off
betting.
twice out of 50 bets, and you're still up, really.
Hey,
But
everybody, don't gamble.
I can't imagine you're putting too much on that.
Know your limit, play within it. Last year in the NFL, 11,985 points and 1,338 touchdowns were scored, which is a record, I believe.
Record on both ends, I assume.
On both ends in the NFL, where offense.
It does sound like a lot.
Yeah, it does. Does it sound like a lot? It's because it is a lot. That's a lot of points. It's a whole lot of points. In an NFL league now where they used to say defense won championships, and that certainly is true of the Seattle Seahawks. Very strong defense, but more and more we're finding that if you can score 48 points in a game, you got a pretty good chance of winning. It's not guaranteed, but if you get some good offense, that can almost be better than a good defense in today's
It'll get
game.
you to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship, and then from there, I don't know. Usually the defense still wins out. The better defense will be the better offense, I think.
That's true.
I think they did
eight
that,
points allowed.
In terms of like the last few Super Bowls, like say 5 to 7, if the top offense is in it, how often they win and how often the better defense wins. And the better defense will win out, the higher amount of times.
Very, very interesting. Folks, we're going to this week break down every single NFL division in the NFC and the AFC. That's 32 teams. We're also going to break down each of the leagues' many thousands of players. We're going to talk to season ticket holders. We're going to talk to all of them. We got them on the line. And
we're going to talk. I think we're talking to some people who are working in the concourse selling things, right? Like,
well, we got the guy who
paints
the lines in the field. We got the guys who have to run out in snowy games and brush the snow off the line, so we know where the yard markers are. If it's snowing too much, we're going to talk to those guys. We're going to talk to the guy who runs the big heater machine that players stand here. We're not going to do any of that.
The heatist, I think.
And/or fan.
Yeah. This time of year would be the fan, especially down in the deep south. But I'll tell you where they won't have the fan, and you're going to see a lot of the heater, is up there in the NFC North, the chilly NFC North, which features the Packers, Bears, Lions, and Minnesota Vikings. Last year's champion was the Packers. They finished with a record of 8-7-1. Missed.
Forget how bad their record was.
Well, they also missed Aaron Rodgers for a couple weeks. He got knocked out in Week 9, and they had to get Matty Flynn to kind of step in after they tried some other guys. But we can see that with Aaron Rodgers that the team is very successful. Not only with Aaron Rodgers, but last year in the Packers run game, which featured a young man named Eddie Lacy, who set the Packers rookie record for most yards and touchdowns in a season, won the Offensive Rookie of the Year, really added depth to the offense of the Green Bay Packers. They can do it on the air, and they can do it on the ground. Last year also contributing to that record was the absence of the linebacker Clay Matthews III. He missed 4 games with a broken thumb. and he actually ended up missing the last game of the season after re-aggravating his thumb. You guys remember he came out and he played with that big like club on his arm?
Yeah, boxing glove type.
Yeah, he had that big boxing glove on his arm. What's interesting is that the Packers finished the game. With the record 7-1. They faced the Bears in Week 17 for the division title, and they beat them with a 100. Beat them with a 48-yard touchdown play to win the division in that game.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they were down. I think they were down by like a point, and they came back and won that game. And now. We got Rodgers with a couple new weapons in the wide receiver. We got Devontae Adams and Jeff Janis. So we'll see what those guys can do in addition to Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson. So Packers
are they supposed to be decent weapons?
We'll see. I mean, they're new. I mean, Cobb, Cobb and Nelson are.
Well, Nelson's their number one. I was just talking about Janis and who's it. So I don't know who that other guy was.
Devontae Adams, yeah.
Yeah.
They're new, I'll tell you that.
They have a new tight end, I believe.
Let's take a look. The new tight end, they have Richard Rodgers. Is that what you mean? Or
no.
Corliss?
No.
Andrew Corliss?
Oh, they had Colt Lear, but I think he's injured. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, there's got... Well, I'm not
They also
sure.
have the best named guy in the entire league.
Stoneburner? Jake Stoneburner?
No, Clinton Dix.
Oh, yes, Adam from free safety. He's drafted in the first round from Alabama.
First round.
Clinton Dix.
Great name.
Pretty great.
Moving on through the NFC North, we got the Bears, who play in NFL's oldest stadium at Soldier Field, established in 1924. The Bears finished last year with a record of 8-8. Of course, I just said they lost that final game to the
Are
Packers.
you saying it's the oldest stadium?
Pardon?
It's the oldest stadium, but they rebuilt it from the ground up more or less like 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, they've been they've renovated it.
Under center. I mean, but they renovated the crap out of it. Is what I mean.
Yeah, well, it's
obviously they knocked down Fenway, and then they're like,
it's the same foundation they've had since 1924, but it's obviously not the same building. Under center,
so it's older than Lambeau.
It's older. Yeah, Lambeau's only 57.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So under center in Chicago, you have Jay Cutler, who's the most sacked quarterback in Bears history, and he also has the most completions and yards in Bears history. Backing him up, we have running back Matt Forte. He was runner-up to LaShawn McCoy and Jamal Charles for the FedEx Ground Player of the Year last season. Cutler's throwing to Brandon Marshall, who he is reunited with from Denver, reunited with Marshall in 2012. Marshall is tied with Welker and Andre Johnson for the most seasons with 100-plus receptions. So that's an interesting fact. And he also has the record for most catches in an NFL game with 21 catches.
Which is crazy.
Noted by his absence from the Bears, we have Devin Hester, the return leader all-time in the NFL. He is... That can't be right. I thought I had it.
He's returned 70. No, okay, that's not right.
He's 100 years old.
No, I have here. He's returned 13 touchdowns for 13 punts for a touchdown. I think that's right. Okay. He was not re-signed by the Bears, and he's now with the Atlanta Falcons. And that could be in part due to the deeper kickoff rule now. Most people are just taking it back for a touchback. Very few
He's
kicks.
Just not very serviceable in any they put him in a wide receiver. He's just not very serviceable there. So it's hard to justify having a great return guy when it costs too much to keep him.
Yeah, roster spot, money.
There you go. Moving on in the NFC North, you have the Minnesota Vikings playing at TCF Bank Stadium while they wait for Viking Stadium to be completed in about 2016. But Matt, you mentioned last week they're playing outside. How much is that going to affect a certain Adrian Peterson? He was the Offensive Player of the Year and MVP in 2012. He actually came within 9 yards short the all-time rushing yardage record. The record was 2,105. He ended the season with 2,097, I believe. He also has 10,115 yards rushing, which is 2,000 more yards rushing than anyone else in the last 10 years. 91 touchdowns, which is 24 more than anyone in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And milestone alert, he needs 2 200-yard rushing games to pass O.J. Simpson. So if he gets 2 more 200-yard rushing games, he's going to have the record with 6.
Wow.
We also have brand new on the linebacker front. We have Anthony Barr. He's a rookie out of UCLA. He was drafted in the 9th pick in 2014 NFL draft. He's going to be alongside, actually noticeable by his absent is Jared Allen, who was just signed by the Bears, who I was just talking about earlier. The Vikings have a new guy on the sidelines, too. They have Mike Zimmer. He's a former Cincinnati defensive coordinator. Vikings fired Leslie Frazier. And they also hired Norv Turner as a new offensive coordinator and George Edwards as their new defensive coordinator. Vikings finished last season with a record of 5-10-1. And we'll see if rookie Teddy Bridgewater gets any starts, if former Patriot and Chief Matt Castle can't get it done. But they had a bit of a quarterback roulette last year with Castle, Ponder, and Josh Freeman.
Oh, my God. Josh Freeman was just awful.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Is Ponder still on that team?
Yeah, Christian
Is he
Ponder.
the third string?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Dude is yoked, but he just can't play football.
Well, yeah, you can say the same thing about...
Dude is yoked.
You can say the same thing about Brady Quinn. Moving on, we have the Detroit...
Brady Quinn got signed somewhere, but...
Well, hopefully one of your teams. We'll mention that. We're moving on. We're going to the Lions, playing Ford Field. They play inside in Detroit, Michigan. Had a record of 7-9 last season. They got a brand new head coach after firing Jim Schwartz. After last season, they have hired Jim Caldwell, who was the former offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll see what old Jimmy Calds can do with quarterback.
He was the head coach in Indy too, right? Once.
I believe. Yeah, when.
But he got fired the year Peyton Manning was injured because they went like 2-14.
Well, it's a tough year.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. You see we'll see what Jim can do with Matt Stafford. He's the fourth quarterback in NFL history to throw over 5,000 yards in a season. He also has the NFL record for most touchdowns in a single game by a rookie. And this is an interesting stat. He has the most yards in a game at 443 without a touchdown. So he threw 443 yards without a touchdown. So there you go.
Congrats.
There you go, Matt Stafford. But he's got a heck of a weapon on a wide receiver, Mr. Megatron, Calvin Johnson Jr. He has the record for most receptions in a single season. And he, milestone alert, needs one 200-yard reception game to pass Lance Allworth. He needs at 5. So if he gets one more 200-yard game.
Is it receptions or receiving yards or both?
Receiving, it's just receiving yards in a game.
Okay, I thought you said receptions.
My apologies.
It's receiving yards in a season, isn't it, that he has the record for?
He has most receiving yards in a season, 1,964.
Okay, that's beatable.
And in international alerts, the Lions will be playing the Atlanta Falcons in London, October 26th. So there you go. Thanks, Roger, for that.
3 London games this year.
Yes, there are, and we'll get to more of those in a second. But, Matt, we're going to move on to you. That wraps up the NFC North. I don't know if I mentioned it already. My pick for the winner of that division will be
have not.
The Green Bay Packers. I believe will repeat, and I have actually I have the Packers going pretty far this year. But that's it's one guy's opinion. If Rodgers can stay unhurt.
Hey, Rodgers!
Discount double check. We'll see where they go. So, Matt, you got our fair friends over there, the NFC East. What's up with them?
Best division of football.
the best. So it's the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Redskins.
Professional football team.
Professional football. I'll get to that. So the Dallas Cowboys. The thing when I was thinking about the Dallas Cowboys, the two things that came to mind last year were.
I thought when I was thinking.
All right. Let me get there, okay? I have to pretend I care about the Cowboys for a little while.
You're a pro, Matt. That's what a pro does. You're doing
Thanks,
great.
man. So I remembered that Romo got really hurt last year, and I don't know what he'll be like at all this year because of his back, and it is made out of soda crackers. And I don't know. Do you guys remember that ridiculous game against the Broncos last year, where they were just like throwing points back and forth?
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was ridiculous.
That was so stupid.
Yeah. So the Cowboys' defense sucked really bad last year, but there's nowhere to go but up or historically low. So those are your options for them. The New York Giants. you might remember, had a very terrible start last year. So I'm sure that even by week 6, if they have, if they're 2-4, then they'll be like, yeah, we're doing much better. So
any improvement, still improvement. What were they, 0-5 or 0-6 to start the season last
0-6
year?
to start the
they were
season.
yeah, it was.
You should see though the quarterbacks they faced in their wins. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Who are
that's
they?
interesting.
The one game Josh Freeman played for the Vikings that was atrocious. Scott Tolzien, Kirk Cousins, like Jeff Toole, and like it was just all backups. I think the two ones they had against legit quarterbacks were RG3, who was bad last year anyway, and Matt Stafford.
We basically faced the island of misfit quarterbacks.
Yeah, it was just they're really bad. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Do you guys remember what their record was last time they won a Super Bowl? We don't have to dwell on it, but
9-7.
They were 9-7 and they won a Super Bowl, which is stupid.
Yeah,
stupid. Moving on, the Philadelphia guys. They're the worst. The worst. Philadelphia Eagles.
No room for bias, boys. No room for bias.
I mean, a lot of this is bias. So the Eagles had a pretty interesting year last year. Nick Foles put up, was it a 7 touchdown game? I want to say.
Yes.
And,
so Manning had one to start the season, and then Foles, like midway, was just like, I'll do it too, I guess.
Again, offense just unreal last season.
3 for you, Riley Cooper. You go, Riley Cooper.
Let's talk about Riley Cooper the better, but
hey,
I digest.
I have to acknowledge him.
You do have to acknowledge. No, you're right. You have to acknowledge him. My bad.
Racist.
Yeah. Well,
so
there you go.
Oh, that's right. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with him. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not really sure what to make of the Eagles. I feel like I don't see them going up a lot more. So I guess we'll see about that.
And then they got the Frenchman though.
Yeah,
LeSean.
Yeah,
he's good. Him and Sproles, man, it's got to be a good running attack.
Oh, I hope so. I got Sproles.
They were also part of that really great snow game last year. One of them.
Against the Lions?
Lions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that game.
Was it the
they
shot
went for 2 all the time?
That game, did they not?
I think
they went off. I think it started like even, and they're just like, we'll score 24 straight, and then
it was disgusting.
On that. Yeah,
I just remember there was that great visual of I think it was Megatron with a mask full of snow.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, looking forward to the snow games this year. I love them.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things that if you don't like football and you see that, you're like, maybe I should like football. Just change how I feel.
That man is freezing for my entertainment.
Exactly. So then we move on to the Washington Redskins. Now, I'm just gonna say, I think it's the right thing that people are getting upset about it. I do find it odd that it's like 2014 and now there's all sorts of momentum for this. Like it wasn't horribly offensive 20 years ago in the 90s. Like I just think it's crazy that now is when it's finally catching up to people.
And it's getting a lot of traction too. Like a lot of traction.
Like people aren't going to call them the Redskins in media. Like certain people aren't going to do it in media and print.
Yeah, I know.
Form of media.
There's been a suggestion that they rename the team after the potatoes, the Redskin potatoes. So they'd be the Washington Redskins, and they would just have potatoes on their helmets.
Well, then they'd have eyes in the back of their head.
Oh, I like it. Oh, see, there you go, guys. Just go for that. Is there a better? I saw Washington Warriors was another suggestion.
What the Washington?
Oh, the Warriors still has that connotation.
Bullets.
Yeah, it's called the Washington Bullets.
The Washington People Killers.
Nothing wrong. The Scalpers. No, because but they'd be named after the people selling tickets outside the stadium.
The Scalpers.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I was just watching the Cigar Store Indian Seinfeld the other day, so this is all funny to me.
Yeah. It's all too soon.
And with Washington, I mean, there's RG3. I saw an article not too long ago that just suggested that it's unlikely that he'll be better. I think they figure he's already peaked, which is tough because he's been injured and stuff.
Well, it's been tough because the Ravens destroyed his knee in that game, and that's pretty much the beginning of a downfall for Mr. Robert Griffin III. It's been a tough go for him, and in a season where a lot of people were kind of picking him in luck to compete head to head. In that quarterback position, and then Luck kind of pulled out as the front runner.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is I'm picking the New York Giants to win. They're going to go 14-2.
Shut up. What do you actually I won't allow that as a suggestion.
Even though I was kind of hard on them, I feel like the Eagles have it. Who's going to be
default? I mean, the Cowboys won't
default.
Go over 8-8. The Skins will be like 6-10, and so will the Giants. So I mean, they go 9-7 and win that division. In the last 2 years, I think the Cowboys have had a chance to get win and they're in. and they've lost both times. So
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot. All those teams are crap.
yeah, shooting craps.
I mean,
That's it.
no bias here or anything, but NNL baby, numbers never lie. Alex, you're out there repping the NFC South. How's
Yes.
what's the dealio with
All
them?
right, so won by the. Oh man, I thought I never remembered who won it. I can't remember now. Carolina and the Saints
it was New
both
Orleans.
made it. I think New Orleans won it, and Carolina was a wild card team.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
you're right.
absolutely. So two teams came out of this last year. We'll start with the Atlanta Falcons, who
Shout
the
out
star
to
of-
Anapoli Pizza, by the way.
yes, absolutely.
Big Falcons fans.
I can't remember Mike's. No, Mike is an Eagles fan. I can't remember his brother's name, but he's the big Falcons
Okay.
fan. so,
Anytime
yeah.
I think of the Falcons, I think of that place because the only
Yeah,
people
yeah.
I know. Besides
Mike Shittiak. Yeah, he's a big Eagles fan.
I know. I digress.
So the Falcons, star of HBO series Hard Knocks this year. I didn't see a single episode because
Oh shoot! I have HBO, but I have HBO Canada. I
Oh.
don't think it's on there.
It's not on the home box office in
I'll have
Canada?
to triple check.
Maybe it's on Showtime. I can't remember. I think
Yeah.
it's on HBO.
No, I think it's HBO. Yeah, you're right.
So they had a real bad season last year, which was kind of an anomaly because they'd had, good seasons, the last 3 or 4 years. Upsides of this team, they got a solid starting quarterback who's a proven winner as long as it's not the playoffs. A great receiving core, and their secondary is all right. The downsides of this team is who blocking. Their offensive line isn't great. It's leakier than Roberto Luongo in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Whoa, too soon.
I've never loved Mike Smith as a coach. And the pass rush leaves a lot to be desired, like the Dark Knight Rises. And they lost their star tight end, Tony Gonzalez. So, bottom line on this team, last year's season being as bad as it was,
Yeah.
probably an anomaly. But I think they'll improve this year. Despite all that, I'll say they'll go 9-7.
Okay.
They'll say they'll have a winning season this year. They're just, they can win.
They can
Carolina
win. Yeah,
Panthers.
last year was a weird one for them, though. I agree.
Carolina Panthers. They made a playoffs last year, like winning 9 straight. They beat San Francisco and New England back to back after Luke Kuechly just mobbed Rob Gronkowski in the end zone. But we won't talk about that. We won't talk about that at all. So they had a great defense last year. Riverboat Ron Rivera finally learned how to coach, and Cam Newton is their starter for the next 10 plus years. So they're in good shape. The downside is who catching. They lost a ton of guys on both sides of the ball, including every single receiver who caught a pass from Cam Newton last year. On their team this year, there was not one receiver who caught a pass from Cam Newton.
That is crazy.
They got a young guy, Kelvin Benjamin. No, maybe. Yes, Kelvin Benjamin, who should be good. Their tight end, Greg Olson's good, but I think last year was kind of magic in a bottle. They're not going to be able to recapture it. The personnel isn't there. They don't have any money to afford anybody. So I think 6-10 for them.
6-10. Okay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got rid of Greg Schiano and picked up Lovie Smith, which is probably one of the best coaching signings in the off season. They got Mike Evans at wide receiver, who's a big, long wide receiver to complement not Vincent Jackson. Yeah, Vincent Jackson. Picked up former Patriot Logan Mankins to help their offensive line and made some other defensive acquisitions through free agency. The downside is Hutasin. Their quarterback is a big question mark, with former Bears backup Josh McCown being their starter. So I think when it comes to Josh McCown, Lovie Smith has signed him 3 times separately, twice with the Bears and now once with the Buccaneers. So he's a big fan. And they also lost Darrelle Revis. So I think they'll be better than last year just based off coaching and defense, but like 7-9, 8-8 at best. And then we'll go to the class of the division. Is the New Orleans Saints. As long as Drew Brees is playing, they get a chance to make it all, and not to win the division, but to win the Super Bowl any year.
Yep.
They picked up Jarius Byrd at free safety. Everyone thinks their new wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, is going to be great. The downside being their O-line is not good. GEWD, and their run game is so-so. I think they got, Mark Ingram and someone else. Can't remember. And aside from Cameron Jordan on the front 7 is not too great. But my prediction being that the Saints will win the division at 11-5 and make a run to the NFC Championship game.
Strong words.
Strong words from a strong man.
Strong words for a strong
Oh,
team
it's
there.
back to me again, I guess, isn't it? Because I got the NFC West.
It is, and that's where I made a mistake in my division of divisions.
That's all right.
Division.
But
the fans will be happy.
Two for Alex.
The listeners will be happy.
The NFC West, how they look and
The NFC West, also known as the best division in football, which was the worst division a few years ago when the Seahawks became the first team ever to win their division with a losing record. They then went on to beat the Saints in the playoffs, so that won't...
with that Marshawn Lynch beast mode run?
Beast mode? Oh, my God. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right. Starting with the Arizona Cardinals. So they got a great defense led by the new Deion Sanders. That'd be Patrick Peterson, both a great cornerback, defensive back, and return man. And they got a great number one back in Andre Ellington now that Rashard Mendenhall retired. The downside being Carson Palmer, while being serviceable quarterback, will never be good enough to take a team very far. Larry Fitzgerald isn't the man he once was. They got to hope he stays healthy. And this team went 10-6 last year behind their coach Bruce Arians in the best division and still couldn't make the playoffs. So I can't see them improving in that record. And if that's the case, I can't see them making the playoffs.
That's tough, man. That's a tough.
I'm gonna say 8-8.
Division. 8-8. Okay.
So brutal, and they all play each other so hard.
Yeah,
and we'll find out later on what that may lead to.
Yeah.
St. Louis Rams. They have a terrifying pass rush between Chris Long and Robert Quinn. It's downright nasty. Like like for the crappy team they are, their front seven is ridiculously terrifying. That's about it. That's really the only thing they're going for.
Well, they lost
Zach
Sam
Stacy
Bradford.
Can follow up, yeah. If Zach Stacy can follow up with a better season after last year's breakout, and they got Trey Mason in the back too, so if they can block and run, they may have a chance. I don't think Sam Bradford, as Will said, he's out. I don't think he's a great quarterback. And even still, he tore his ACL last year and then tore it again in preseason. So he's gone for another year. And, I mean, he is one of the guys, him and Jamarcus Russell combined, are two of the guys that basically caused the new CBA to happen. Because guys were getting signed for, like, $70 million contracts without taking a single snap. Just right off being signed first overall, just, hey, here's $70 million. And now it's just like, yeah, here's 4.5, and we'll talk to you in like 3 or 4 years. It's just a big waste of money. So ACL gone. Sean Hill's a starting quarterback. Who? I don't know. No improvements on offense to speak of. I'll say they go 7, 8, and 1 because they always find a way to tie a game. So we'll see what happens.
And they always
there.
delay my favorite shows on Fox by like a half hour when I record.
It's terrible.
Always messes up.
Thanks, St. Louis. You're the guy who still watches The Simpsons. That's interesting. That's good. No, okay. On to the San Francisco 49ers. Upsides being Michael Crabtree is healthy, which is good. He's probably Colin Kaepernick's favorite target other than Vernon Davis. They've made the NFC Championship game 3s in a row, but not a Super Bowl to show for it. And their defense has been one of the top 5 in the last 4 seasons and won't fall off too badly. Having said that, their defense is also missing some key components. Navarro Bowman tore his ACL and MCL last year against the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. He's on the PUP, so that means he can't play till at least week 6. I can't see him playing till week 8 or 9 at best. Aldon Smith has been suspended for 9 games due to a number of interesting off-field incidents. So we'll see about that. Their head coach, Jim Harbaugh, despite his success, almost took the Browns coaching job in the offseason because he does not get along with their general manager at all. Frank Gore is old, and Cap regressed last year, so I don't know. They should be good. He should be better this year. Crabtree's there. Anquan Bolden's there. Stevie Johnson's there. Vernon Davis is there. And despite losing Kendall Hunter, Carlos Hyde is there as well. I'm going to say 10-6. 10-6 for the 49ers. I can't see them doing great. I think they're going to lose some close games this year, but they'll still be good. And then the Seattle Seahawks. So these are the defending Super Bowl champions and already one of the favorites to win again. So people are looking at them to be one of the first team to repeat since the New England Patriots did in 2003 and 2004. The upsides of the Seahawks. Their defense was terrifying last year and is equally so this year. They have Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bruce Irvin. Russell Wilson has the potential to be this decade's Tom Brady, and I know that's a stretch, but kind of one of those pretty good quarterbacks behind a great defense. You know, Brady didn't turn into like the great passer he was until about his third or fourth year, and Wilson can maybe shake that as well. He's been known as a game manager, so we'll see what happens. Downsides, who's catching for him? Sidney Rice retired due to injuries. Golden Tate went to the Detroit Lions. So that leaves him Percy Harvin, who needs to stay healthy, and two guys, I don't know who the hell they are. So they need a lot of help in the passing department. But they get Marshawn Lynch. He's a year older, 10 years grumpier, so we'll see how that goes. I think he might be close to retirement. He just seems to be that guy. Having said all that, still the best team in the business and will win the division, but I'm going to say 11-5. It's a very tough division. Their schedule's not easy this year. So we'll see what happens. Obviously a lot better at home than on the road. And now it's time for my stupid ass prediction, and that would be that this division will beat up on itself more than any other division, and therefore I think the Seahawks will be the only playoff team to come out of the division this year.
Oh, okay. That sounds likely. I mean, who knows?
Like I said, it's a stupid ass prediction, but that's where I'm going with that there.
Very interesting.
Oh, I'm out of breath.
I like that. No, it's you did a hell of a thing there, son. Good analysis, Alex. Matt, back to you, buddy. We're looking right now at the AFC North. Who's coming out of the AFC North this year? Well, probably the same teams that have come out in the last couple of years, but how are they looking?
Browns.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we can start with okay. So it's Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers.
Yeah.
Browns after week 2 will switch to Manziel and then go 14-2. That's a given.
Wow.
That is.
So you're saying Johnny Manziel leads into 14 straight wins?
Even without Josh Gordon.
Wow.
He's going to be working at a car dealership this year.
Well, drive away a winner.
It's like the CFL style sort of thing. That's what CFL.
Speaking of the CFL tried to get him.
Oh, really?
But you got to get everybody.
The Stampeders have him. You know what happened? It's the same thing that happened with, and I sort of did digress, but Ricky Williams. That's a person.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he was suspended from the NFL for marijuana, issues, and he was actually able to sign with the Toronto Argonauts despite being suspended because he was not under contract with any team. So the Calgary Stampeders actually added Josh Gordon to their negotiation list, but they can't sign him even though he's suspended because he's under contract with the Browns.
Oh.
There you go.
That's a shaky rule anyway. I mean, you shouldn't really be allowed to play in another league if you're suspended, but it worked out for Ricky Williams and the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah. So then we have the Cincinnati Bengals with Andy Dalton, who made a fair amount of money.
$100 million man.
Kind of.
$600,000 is guaranteed.
Exactly. And then there's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just want to talk about how they have LeGarrette Blount, and I won't miss him. I feel like
I won't miss him at all. He's a jerk.
No, I miss him. It's gonna make me sad, man.
Yeah,
he's gonna have some big return. It's gonna make me.
I drafted him in my fantasy draft, and Yahoo laughed at me for that. And they said, you're an idiot for picking him as your last pick. He was 173rd overall. I picked him. They're like, you're an idiot for doing that.
I got
your last pick. What are you gonna do?
Well, I switched him out for Bernard Pierce.
Can I say this? Sorry, and I digress again.
No, say it.
My friend is in a Yahoo draft, and here was his Yahoo report card. Here was the heading on it. It says, with multiple Buccaneers, the neckbeard should have attempted to draft players that are good.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's straight up from Yahoo, just like
Yahoo don't pull no punches, man. I like it.
Oh my gosh!
Like your style.
Why do you have more than one person from the Bucs?
Buccaneers? Actually, I should
take
double
Doug
check
Martin, and that's it.
Yeah, and then no one else.
We got to talk about the Buccaneers jerseys when we get their new uniforms because
they look
questionable.
Terrible. They have nothing to do with Buccaneers either. I don't understand.
I thought they were fine. They were fine last year, and then with calculator numbers and a way larger helmet decal, and I think that's weird.
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, and then there's a team called the Baltimore Ravens.
How about them Ravens?
So they had a pretty rough year last year.
Super Bowl hangover.
I
mean, no excuses, but Super Bowl hangover. And
where do you think they're going to go this year?
I think they're definitely going to win the division this year. They're definitely going to improve on what they did last year. The running game
is a hard division to be so definite about, though.
Well, it's true. Yeah, it's true. But I don't know. The Steelers kind of fell off last year. The Browns, we'll see if Manziel can do anything, and the Bengals, we'll see. I can't see them improving on what they did last year. So with the Ravens, again, all there is to go is up. The first time Joe Flacco's ever missed the playoffs since he's been a starter there, and if they can get their running game going again and have a more varied offense, then I think they'll do well. I'm not sure what Steve Smith Sr. is going to add to the team. But they beefed up their offensive line, so the running game should be better, even though Ray Rice won't get back to them until week 3.
So one point on the Ravens that I noticed is they have the most brutal schedule to start off the season just in the first 2 games. They have to play a divisional game against the Bengals on Sunday,
and then they play the Steelers
on Thursday.
Yeah,
that is brutal.
Is horrific.
Yeah,
that is the worst start to the season. Like it's similar for the Steelers because they play the Browns and then the Ravens. But I mean, the Ravens is that's hard. You go 0-2, and especially in your division. And I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying there is potential, obviously, but it's tough.
Yeah,
that's a tough schedule by far.
Yeah, it is. Hey man, it is what it is. And they always have great games against the Steelers. It's a fantastic rivalry there that has been steeped in history ever since 1996. Who can forget that? So
yeah, exactly.
Matt, who's your pick to win that division?
It's got to be the 14-2 Cleveland Browns.
Okay,
it's got to be it.
All right,
bold prediction.
Stupid ass.
Hold me to it.
Stupid ass prediction, as Alex said.
Stupid ass.
I mean, I picked the Ravens if Manziel wasn't going to step in week 2, but we'll see.
Man, you are just jumping on the bandwagon.
So it's pretty obvious who my favorite team is, and now we're going to move on to the segment I like to call "Let's see how often Alex jumps in to correct or add something." We're going to talk about the New York.
No. Oh my God.
Well, okay.
No, I was right. We're going to talk about the New York Jets first.
There you go. The AFC East.
In the AFC East, the New York Jets finished last season at 8-8. Rex Ryan again on the sidelines as in his 5th season. This time not playing with his tattooed buddy Mark Sanchez, who was released by the Jets and signed by the Eagles. Hey, Mark Sanchez has most playoff victories by a rookie quarterback. He's actually tied with Flacco because he has 2. And he's also the first rookie quarterback to win his first 3 starts. But this season, the Jets have Geno Smith, and they actually had him last year as well. Smith, who set the Jets record for most passing yards by a rookie at 3,046. And backing him up will be Michael Vick. So we'll see if Vick gets any play. We did mention him last week that Vick was accused of not playing with passion, but like we were saying, he was signed on as a backup. So, what are you going to do? A big addition this year is Chris Johnson, who was released by Tennessee. We'll see if he can have we'll see if he can have a bounce back year. He is the only NFL player in history to have a touchdown of 50 yards, 60 yards, and 80 yards in one game. And he's also the only NFL player to have 6 rushes over 80 yards. No other player has more than 3. So there you go.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Also,
just sometimes the stats are weird.
I picked the weirdest ones.
Yeah.
Remember,
50,
I can
60,
say
and 80. He's the only one to do that. He's the only one to rush for 27 yards, then 9 yards, then 80 yards.
I was reading a stat today. It's like, be careful starting running backs in week 1 because when the temperature is over 80 degrees Fahrenheit, the running backs have 26% fewer yards. So make sure you keep an eye on the temperature. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Another addition out of Denver is Eric Decker, signed with the Jets for a 5-year deal. So we'll see what he can add as a weapon for Mr. Geno Smith.
As the weapon.
As pretty much the weapon for Geno Smith.
He's the number 1 guy now.
As I've written down, nobody else. They don't really have anybody else. But moving on from the Jets.
They have no secondary.
That's true. They don't have a secondary. And
they actually are not fielding anybody in the secondary. They're just 11 on the front line and see what happens.
Well, from the Jets secondary from years ago is Darrelle Revis, who this next team, the Patriots, acquired from Tampa Bay. We'll see what Revis can do, who he's going to put on Revis Island. Bill Belichick starts his 14th season with the Patriots, who finished last year at 12-4. Patriots who have won their division every single year with Tom Brady as a starter, except for 2008. But I'm sure you guys will like me to say as little about 2008 as possible.
They didn't win the division in 2002.
Well, I guess every season he started. No, wait. I mean, the last 10
Because
years.
that was the year after the first Super Bowl, so.
Yeah, he is still, Super Bowl
So
hangover.
you're wrong.
It's a real thing. Super Bowl hangover is a real thing.
They went 9-7, and the Jets won the division.
This year, we'll see if Mr. Rob Gronkowski, who has the most reception yards by a tight end in a season at 1,327, and the most touchdowns in a season by a tight end at 18. Guy's a bit injury prone though. Had that infection in his forearm, had back surgery, now his knee. He's confident he'll have played yesterday. Okay, less said about that, the better.
So big. He's confident he'll play. He did play yesterday, so
yeah,
good for him.
But less said about that, the better. But the real story in New England is Mr. Neckbeard himself, Tom Brady.
You see that?
Yes.
He's got a regular beard.
No, he does not.
It's
Look at the
necky.
picture I
Is
posted.
it full?
Oh, it's full on necky.
It's very.
Okay.
It's
I thought
very
neckbeard was
necky.
like exclusively
I'm
on the
texting
neck.
to you right now. That Eugenie Bouchard is not ugly, by the way. Okay, what were we saying?
Who's saying Eugenie Bouchard is ugly?
No one.
He's
I'm just
saying she's
she is
not?
I'm saying
Oh,
she's not
okay.
ugly.
I thought you were disagreeing with somebody, and I didn't think
No.
anyone that disagreed with you.
Eugenie
at all.
Bouchard, Canadian, but Mr. Tom Brady.
American.
I'll talk him up
San Diego.
a little bit if you want to. He's the Pats leader in passing touchdowns, passing yards, completions, attempts, and wins. He has the most playoff starts by a quarterback at 26, most playoff wins for a quarterback at 18, and will likely attain the 50,000-yard milestone this season. I think he's only like 200 yards away or something like that. He's pretty
Hopefully
close.
he gets that.
But milestone alert, he needs 2 more wins to be the third quarterback with 150 wins.
Woo, milestone alert. And that brings us to the milestone alert brought to you by Montana's Escape to the Cookhouse.
There you go. Brought to you by Verizon. Moving down the coast to the beautiful state of Florida, America's Wang. We have the Miami Dolphins.
Low rider. America's Wang.
We have the Miami Dolphins who play in Sun Life Stadium, which, of course, hosted WrestleMania 28. Dolphins finished last season with an 8-8 record and have gone through 7 coaches in the last 10 years. But Joe Philbin, don't call me Regis Philbin, is back for his 3rd season. With Mr.
After
Ryan,
a stunning year last year.
Mr. Ryan Tannehill under center. He has the Dolphins record for most passing yards in a rookie season at 3,294. And a big addition this year, again from the Denver Broncos, is Noshawn Moreno, who's the first Bronco to have over 1,000 yards rushing and 500 reception yards in one season. Also, London alert, the Miami Dolphins will play Oakland in London on September 28th. So if you're in the London, England area, get your tickets to the Dolphins Raiders Classic.
Oh my God, the games they have over there this year.
I just realized saying that out loud, what I was saying out loud. We also have Tannehill. He's going to be tossing it to Brian Hartline. Is the Dolphins' record for most reception yards in a single game at 253. But other than that, I would say the Dolphins don't have a whole heck of a lot going on down there. I can't see them improving on their 8-8 record. I actually see them probably having less, but that's just one man's opinion. Which moves us to the team.
I don't know why you're ending with the Buffalo Bills. You should have started with them.
At the bottom of their division. Well, I like to start. I like to start from the top down.
Yeah. So the Jets are the top. All right.
Buffalo Bills finished last year at a 6-10 record. Play in Toronto at some point. I can't remember who they play.
They don't.
Oh, actually, no. You're right. They don't.
They don't play. I know I'm right.
Their second season under Doug Maroney, and he's going to be coaching the 6'5" EJ Manuel. He's the first rookie quarterback in history to beat a Super Bowl champ in September. I think it was when he beat what's his name, the Ravens. Also, they signed
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. In the draft, they picked
Falco.
Sammy Watkins, 4th pick in the 2014 draft, out of Clemson, who's the Orange Bowl champ and the Orange Bowl MVP of 2014.
We'll talk about that in a minute once you tell me how good the Bills are going to be this year.
Well, this is the Bills are the only team in the NFL to win 4 consecutive conference titles, the only team to appear in 4 consecutive Super Bowls, all of which they lost. Currently, currently have the longest playoff drought in NFL history. They were the wild card in 1999. They have not played a playoff game in the 21st century and have not finished at 500 or better since 2004. So, Buffalo is hurting a little bit. They signed Kyle Orton from Denver. He's not going to do anything.
For $11 million for 2 years as a backup.
Yeah.
He's making more than EJ Manuel.
And also they have...
I get it. You don't want Jeff Toole to be your backup, but, I mean, do you really have to pay him that much?
There's talk of... I think there was a while back talk of John Bon Jovi possibly purchasing the team. But I don't know if that's here nor there. But the Bills are in a bit of upheaval right now. It's not really clear if they're going to stay in Buffalo. They are the only team in the NFL plays in New York State. That's an interesting fact because the New York Giants and the New York Jets both play in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
So those are the Bills.
Can we talk about the Watkins trade for a second, though?
Yeah, let's talk about Sammy Watkins. Yeah.
So similar to when the Falcons went for Julio
Iglesias? Oh, Jones.
Yeah, Julio Iglesias, Enrique Iglesias, went for Julio Jones. Oh, my God. 3 years ago, they gave up 4 picks for him. So everyone was going, well, is it worth it? Well, yeah, it turns out they were because the Falcons had a lot of good years with him if he stays healthy. The Bills are not going to be good this year. And to get Watkins this year, they gave up their first rounder this coming year. That could be the first overall pick, potentially.
Yeah.
To move up to 4th to get Sammy Watkins, if they're as bad as they can be. And they can be that bad. Is it going to be worth it? I know Sammy Watkins is good, but is it going to be worth it? I don't know. It's like when the Washington Redskins gave up the pick for RG3, and it ended up being the 2nd overall pick. The 2nd overall pick. Now, the guy who they picked wasn't that great for St. Louis. Anyway, sorry, I digress, but I'm just saying people give up a lot in the future, and if they stink for a year, you're giving up your first rounder next year. That's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, that's.
And is EJ Manuel your guy? Probably not.
Well, and then is Kyle Orton going to be your guy because you're paying him so much? Of course. Well, we'll see if they had a bunch of injury problems last year too at quarterback, but I see the Bills not improving. I see them. We'll see, but they'll probably end up doing about the same. My pick again for the division winner of the AFC East is going to be New England. Pretty. It's just a sensible pick. I mean, come on, they're pretty dominant. Anytime you get the Belichick Brady combo, it's a darn good combo, and they win football games that
talk to me.
A lot of the times they don't really have a right to win, but they do a heck of a job. So
Browns game last year, the Saints game last year. Oh, the Saints game last year.
That was great.
Ugh. Worth all the pain. And the Texans game came back from behind in that one too. That one sticks in my mind for some reason. I was there, eh?
Oh yeah,
I was there.
Well, geez, eh? Well, speaking of the AFC South,
that
and the Houston Texans. Out of Reliance Stadium, Alex, how's the AFC South looking this year?
Oh, real good there.
Well, they got Indy. Indy's could be.
Oh my God.
Well, I'll let you get to it.
Yeah, let's just say Indy's gonna be worse, and that's okay in this division. All right, so you got the old Jacksonville Jaguars. Were pretty terrible last year. Went 2-14. So the question being, can they improve on that? We will find out shortly.
Let's see how Bortle does.
Yeah, we'll see how Blake Bortles. The upside being that they have the best name in football with running back Storm Johnson. Downside being he's not very good at football.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles, they took him 3rd overall at quarterback. He's looked real good in the preseason. I like their coach, and they got rid of Blaine Gabbert. Those are all the good things. The downsides, literally everything else. Their best receiver is suspended indefinitely in Justin Blackmon. The running back is Toby Gerhart, who, I don't know. He was the backup to Adrian Peterson last year.
Yeah.
Bortles has potential, but they're redshirting him or are not starting him this year, so they're going with Chad Henne.
Ooh, Chad.
Not much to like here. Their new wide receiver, Marquise Lee, will be pretty good. They got Cecil Shorts, but I don't know. There's nothing to speak of with this team. They're also playing a game in
third London game alert.
Their London game. I can't remember who they're playing. Someone have to. I want to say like the Eagles or something random. But yeah, the Jaguars. Not looking too good. It's not the Eagles. I can't remember who it is. Anyway,
I'll look it
up. 3-13, I'll say. Ooh, Tennessee Titans. Is this going to be Jake Locker's breakout year? I don't think so. In his first 2 seasons, he started 18 games and missed the rest due to injury. So we'll see what happens there. Upsides of the Tennessee Titans. They got rid of Chris Johnson's Earth and contract, kicked him out of Music City. They picked up Bishop Sankey as his replacement, who was the best running back in last year's draft, and have a decent coach in Ken Wisenhunt. The downsides, I'd say their biggest offseason acquisition was Michael Orr, the mediocre offensive lineman from the Baltimore Ravens.
The blind side.
Big Mike. So without Sandra Bullock there on, and defensive coordinator, I don't know. They don't really have enough weapons on either side of the ball to be anything but a nuisance to other teams. I expect bad things. I'll say 5-11.
Oh, and 5-11, good stuff. To interject, the Jacksonville Jaguars play the Dallas Cowboys November 9th. And they actually play the next 2 years in 2015 and 16. They have a game.
But that's what you have to. You have to take a team that's not going to miss a home game. And
then, in 2017, they're going to play all their home games there, and for after that as well,
and live there as well full time.
Ridiculous. Anyway, sorry.
Is a random team to have there. No, that's good. I appreciate the feedback there.
We'll save.
Houston Texans.
All right, Houston.
Gross disappointment in the NFL. Despite being a playoff team the year previously, they started 2-0 and finished 0-14. 2-14. Not good for a team that was a playoff team last year, and basically had the same team coming back. The upsides for the Texans: cut that loser Matt Schaub.
Yeah, who fans cheered when he broke his ankle?
Guys, I was in Houston last year, and nobody down there liked this guy. Like, even when he was good, there was a season, I want to say 3 years back, where the Texans went like 12-4 or 13-3, but Schaub got injured before the playoffs, and I think TJ Yates had to start for them in the playoffs.
Oh, good stuff.
Who? I don't know.
Yeah.
And everyone was going, well, if Schaub was healthy, they could have won the Super Bowl if Schaub was healthy. And you look at him now, you're like, no, he's just throwing pick sixes all the time. He already got booted out of the starting job in Oakland for rookie Derek Carr, and I just don't see good things with him. Anyway, other division. I don't know. A lot of their losses last year were by 7 points or less. That's an upside. And then what they do have is J.J. Watt and rookie Jadeveon Clowney. So that's a terrifying combo up front. Just brutal. Aaron Foster can play if he's healthy and he cares. And they have a great receiver in Najee Johnson, who's getting a little bit old, and an up-and-comer DeAndre Hopkins. Those are all upsides. Downsides, who throwing? Their QB situation is not enviable. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a former Buffalo Bill and last year's backup in Tennessee. He is their starter. He did not have any competition in camp between rookie Tom Savage and Case Keenum, who has since hit the bricks. And they just brought in New England backup Ryan Mallett, who looks like he's going to be his official backup, and I would say is probably a 75% chance he'll take over the starting job sometime this year. He's got a relationship with the head coach of the Houston Texans, Bill O'Brien. He used to be the quarterback coach in New England, so I think he's just going to go with what he knows if Ryan Fitzpatrick shows any signs of sucking, which he probably will. Quarterback league, so I don't see their luck improving too much this year. At best, 7-9, probably more like 6-10. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, the pride of Pawnee.
That's right.
Andrew Luck, as good a starter quarterback as he will be playing Fezzik in the remake of The Princess Bride.
More neckbeard.
Reggie, yeah. Oh, yeah. Maddie, did you get that Tom Brady neckbeard picture I showed you? That is all neckbeard.
It's thick and it's not. It's not. It's
It's all neck.
Yeah.
And it is luscious.
It really is.
All right. So, Reggie Wayne might be old, but he's back and healthy. I don't know. Respectable. Elsewhere, without being identifiably so. Robert Mathis is out for the first 4 games. That's not good. He's their only pass rusher. So the biggest benefit, besides luck, would be the division they're in. Downsides, the Trent Richardson trade last year could be one of the worst of all time. Trading him straight up for a first-round pick was not good, which eventually became Johnny Manziel once they traded up with Philadelphia to go to 22. There's no improvements on this team, for what I can see, none whatsoever. Luck is going to have a lot on his plate, and he's already been more than average in terms of being clutch. And, is that sustainable? I don't know. 9-7 is going to be their record. Luck will have to do all that he can to keep the team relevant, but they're in such a meandering division. I can't see them not winning it. They could win it at 8-8 even. I think they're going to go 9-7, but I think as long as they're above 500, they're going to win this division.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
A bold prediction. What do you call it? A stupid-ass prediction from Alex coming out of the AFC South. Maddie, you're going to wrap this whole shenanigan up here. We got the AFC West. How they looking?
The AFC West. So it's the Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers. I'm going to start with the Chargers. Philip Rivers on NFL.com ranked in the top 5 among QBs, which is interesting. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think
for children procreated, or for what? Sorry,
he's top 5, but he's got to be like number 5, right?
Almost certainly.
Yeah. I mean, sure. He's San Diego's offense has always been pretty.
He has 6 kids. Do you guys know he has 6 kids?
Explosive, and he's going to be an NFL analyst someday. He's really good.
6 kids.
He's pretty good on the.
Oh, the bolo tie last year. Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah. No, he's done a heck of a job down there.
They're going to be the surprise team. Not even the surprise team. They're a force to be reckoned with. This.
But they got a new. Oh, wait. They didn't fire Norv last year. They fired him the year before, right?
Yeah, so they got Mike McCoy as their head coach.
Yeah. Okay, so he'll be getting into his second season, I think.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Sorry, Matt.
No worries at all. Then there are the Kansas City Chiefs. A big year last year. You got to think they got to regress to the mean, which would give the Chargers a chance to kind of slide to that second spot. I'm not sure. Yeah.
You gotta
get lower there.
Do you guys know AFC West, by the way, is going to be the name of Kanye's second child? Nailed it.
Gotta be.
Even though he's from Chi-Town, so it'd be. Yeah. I know what you mean. And it'll be called NFC Northwest. There you go. Terrible.
All right.
Then we got the Oakland Raiders, who have a new stadium deal, which not immediately beneficial for them, but definitely interesting and not expected. There's a lot of talk about going to, I want to say San Antonio, but they got Oakland a cough up $120 million, which is not a small amount of money at all.
This is the most interesting part of this team, eh?
Yep.
Well, they got a rookie. Aren't they? Didn't they say they're going to start Derek Carr as
Derek Carr
quarterback?
is the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I got to throw a shout out to my boy Corey Sheets, who I think was going to play with the Raiders or be involved somehow. He was formerly with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, won a Grey Cup with them last year, played very well as a running back, but he tore his Achilles tendon and he's done for the season.
Oh,
so that's kind of a huge bummer.
See, I'm telling you, man, it's sports. Like you just, a bad step here, a bad piece of luck there, and you're done. It's insane.
Yeah. So that's a bummer there. And then, guys, we got the Denver Broncos, and I got to savor what I'm about to say next, which is for the first 4 games of the season, Wes Welker's not going to be there.
He was dancing with Molly.
That's right. I mean, maybe we'll be there.
Do whatever we want at the Kentucky Derby. Those guys know how to party. I'm going to the Derby this year. I thought it was all fancy hats.
No, he's not, Mom and Dad. He's just kidding.
They're doing Molly in the bathroom there.
Well, I mean,
it's crazy.
He was hanging out with Brady,
Chrome, a notorious.
Wait, and Matt, what I've noticed too is that, Hal said he went on those races. What I noticed too is Matt Prater's suspended for violating substance abuse policy for alcohol.
Yeah, he got a DUI in 2011, and now he's on zero tolerance. So any infraction was an automatic 4-game suspension. It was supposed to be a year-long suspension.
Whoa.
Just based off the
zero tolerance. They don't tolerate that.
Yeah, they have levels of first, second, third. So like something like Justin Blackmon. He's a serious case. Same with Josh Gordon. And Matt Bryant was in that case, for alcohol. So they weren't playing around, but we'll see what happens there. 4 games, not so bad.
Yeah. So the other part too, got to talk numbers real quick. The numbers that matter, the ones they've been talking about, the numbers are 43-8, which was how they lost the Super Bowl last year, which was surprising as all get out. And apparently that was kind of a big motivator for them in the offseason. Another question, though, is Peyton Manning, this is last year, is he going to play until his arms fall off? Is he going to play until his forehead reaches the back of his neck?
Yeah, that's what
God, I love him without a helmet. Just that big gob of red in the middle of his forehead.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Last year, he set the record for most passing yards in a season with 5,477. He also had most games with at least 4 touchdown passes. He had 8 games with at least 4 touchdown passes.
And that's pretty remarkable.
And like last year, that's pretty nuts.
But
yes.
Fair enough.
Then they had Aqib Talib and TJ Ward to the secondary. They got rid of Champ Bailey, who was a step too slow, who went to the Saints and then got cut from the Saints. So I'd say that was the right choice. And they have Dwight Freeney. It's going to be DeMarcus Ware, sorry. Oh, my God. They're going to be really good this year. Like, I don't know. They were really annoying me in the offseason. Just like, oh, they got this. You're like, what? How do they have any money for that? Anyway, sorry.
Anyway,
so
if you're
Broncos
into,
going to win that.
If you're into records, by the way, if you're into the word most, go to his Wikipedia page, and you'll see the most I've ever seen, because he basically owns every record everywhere. For all time. Well, not yet in Denver, but certainly and he probably won't pass anything in Denver. But he certainly has the most Colts records by a long shot.
If you guys like funny things, check out the show That's Good Broncos on YouTube. This guy has about a 10-minute show after each Broncos game. Specifically check out, and I'm not just saying this because of
the
my
Patriots,
fandom.
I'm going to
specifically check out after the Super Bowl. And after the Patriots game, but check out all of them. The guy's pretty funny. It's called That's Good Broncos.
Is he unintentionally funny, or is he actually funny?
No, it's absolutely on purpose. Like, it's well done.
I think I might have heard of
Check
this
it out.
before.
Check it out.
That's Good Broncos.
Check it.
And Matt, did you announce your winner of the AFC South?
Yeah.
Or
the
AFC
Broncos.
AFC
The Chargers.
Whichever. Yeah, the Broncos. Yeah.
That's going to be my stupid-ass prediction number 2. Chargers.
As the
I'm serious.
as
I think they'll both. Yeah.
Okay,
AFC
so
West. Sorry, AFC West champions, not AFC champions.
Not AFC champions.
We all know who the
speaking
AFC
of,
champions are going to be.
Okay.
We all know.
I'm actually
Say it
gonna
on 3. Say it on 3. Here we go. 1, 2. New England Patriots.
Oakland.
Oh my God, Derek Carr.
He's
and
gonna
Michael
have
Rivera are going to do what no one's done before.
He's gonna have a bust out year. Well, let's actually predict this Super Bowl, and I actually kind of side with you guys. I think we'll see what Tom and Bill can do there in New England, but I would like to, and I think we are going to see a Patriots-Packers Super Bowl for the first time since 96?
Yeah, we won't.
Was that the one that Brett won? Yeah, we won't mention that. Well, Tom Brady wasn't playing that game, and neither was Aaron, neither was Rodgers. But that's my pick for the Super Bowl this year is Pats.
Wow.
Pats and Pack playing in the desert.
Arizona. University of Phoenix Stadium. Maddie, your prediction.
I'm going to go with Patriots, and despite some of what was said earlier, the 49ers.
Wow.
How good? Oh, man, remember that game? Were they playing in the rain a couple years ago?
Remember how good that game was that they lost? Yeah,
they lost.
I remember.
Oh, my gosh. But they came back. And
the comeback was so good.
It was
God,
so
they come back even when they don't want to win. I was so mad. I'm like, if you're going to come back, come back all the way, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't.
That's obvious.
Yeah, I mean, you still lost the game. So the Pats tied it up, and they had like a 72-yard return, and they're just like, next play, touchdown. You're like, really? Really? Just stop stop it. No, okay.
What's your prediction?
My prediction is Patriots and Seahawks.
Pats and
God,
Seahawks.
I shouldn't have said Patriots because you guys both did. I should have said. I'm going to say the Raiders.
No, that was my joke pick. Can't pick the same joke pick.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say the Jaguars and the Rams. Jaguars and Rams, and it's going to be in England because where else would you have such a great Super Bowl?
Who's your pick for Rookie of the Year, Matt? This is a longer
Oh, that's
shot.
interesting.
Do they have a straight up?
I mean,
they don't have a straight up
14-2
Rookie of the Year though, do they?
Award?
They have offensive and defensive.
I thought they had a straight up Rookie of the Year.
They might. They may.
Well, let's pretend on our show they do.
Sure, it's going to be the guy who takes the Browns to 14-2.
Johnny
Manziel.
Manziel.
It's gotta be.
Johnny Football. Okay, we'll see what he does in the big boy game. I'm going to go with Anthony Barr, linebacker in Minnesota. That's my pick for Rookie of the Year. Alex, who do you got?
Yeah, so it is just offensive and defensive rookies. So,
Okay, well, let's pretend that, like I said,
defensive
it's our
rookie of
show.
the year. Defensive rookie of the year, I'll say Jadeveon Clowney. Offensive rookie of the year, I will say.
That's a good note.
Brandon Cooks.
Okay, and my offensive rookie of the year will be Sammy Watkins.
Right. So, who's going to be your rookie of the year, Will?
Well, my rookie of the year is going to be Anthony Barr. But
Right.
he'll be my defensive rookie of the year now.
Okay.
And now I'll have Sammy Watkins as the offensive rookie of the year.
All right.
Hey, man, what do I know? I don't know.
I honestly don't know what you know.
Nerfing. Gosh, that's the NFL. In
That's the NFL. Sorry, Mom, if you fell
hours are
asleep
left.
on that one, but
a lot of numbers.
6 hours are left.
A lot of guys. We got 32 teams of 53 players on each team. I mean,
It is true.
I love it. I love this time of year. I think I was kvetching about summer last year. One of the reasons I don't like summer is they play fake football all summer. And I'm not taking down the CFL. I'm talking about the NFL preseason. Like the Vikings were perfect in the preseason. Doesn't mean anything, right? Doesn't mean a god dang thing. Now it's time to put up or shut up. It's time for more GMC truck commercials than you can shake a stick at, and Campbell's Chunky Soups and Chris Berman saying, "Whoop!"
So much
should be a good time. Chris Berman, by the way, he was in Hamilton at the Tim Hortons field opener.
Oh,
He was
really?
just there. Nice.
Yeah, he was there, and he was making fun of how the referee's like, he says holding. He's making fun of his accent. And he's like, oh, the same guy who kicks the field goal punts the ball? Oh, okay. He's like,
Yeah,
learning.
that's awesome.
Well, actually,
Go
no.
yourself,
Chris Berman's pretty cool, actually, because he did have a little thing about when Anthony Calvillo got the
Oh,
most.
I love that.
Yeah, he actually like acknowledges the CFL, which is a lot more than you can say about most American.
Every year during the 2 minute
Analysts.
drill, they'll cover the Grey Cup.
It's worth it, right? It's worth it to cover
Yeah.
the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
But boys, we'll settle down for a fun time. The Pats do not play the Ravens this year, so hopefully I'll meet you guys in the playoffs.
Yeah. Playoffs. Sorry.
Gotta.
Thanks a lot, Jim Mora. You'll always be
Can do
remembered.
diddly poo offensively.
We'll see what kind of new fun sound bites from the coaches and new sound bites from the players come this year. It's going to be a good time, guys. Sundays are fun again. Take that, church. But
I didn't say it, Mom.
no, I'm just goofing around.
No, you're
but
not wrong. But
They have church on Saturday sometimes too.
It's true. Yeah.
I get
And sometimes
things.
on Thursday. Well, they have
that's my
church
binge drinking day.
my games here, my East
So are
Coast games
Thursdays
here
and Tuesdays.
start at 10 a.m.
Ooh.
10 a.m. they start, so it's time to wake up, have a big old mug of coffee, and watch the Baltimore Ravens. And we'll see how they do. But it should be a good time, and we're definitely going to be talking more about the NFL season as it progresses
Oh yeah.
throughout the year. It should be good.
yeah.
So keep it locked here, folks, for more in-depth analysis and a bunch of numbers that
Keep it locked. I don't want to see you guys switching channels or podcasts. You wait until a new one comes out.
because we will find you.
Keep it here.
Don't keep it. Don't put it anywhere else. These so-called professionals don't know anything. The three of us who've never played a down of professional football in our lives, we know exactly what we're talking about.
Well, speak for yourself, man.
Darn it.
In my dreams. In my dreams.
I played in the European League for a little while last year.
There hasn't been a European League for
I
10
actually-
years.
I got paid to play in Germany.
I actually
So,
played. I
have
actually
to look into that.
worked at the restaurant with a guy who plays in Sweden now. He was the UBC quarterback, and now he plays over there in Sweden. So if you love
and
football,
works at the Cactus Club.
he worked at
part-time?
Cactus Club. Yeah.
That is quite a commute.
Yep.
Well, obviously he just worked there when he was at UBC, and now when he's in Sweden, it's pretty obvious. Earth to Alex. Thanks a lot for listening this week. Follow us on Twitter at William C. Vaughn. Go ahead, Alex.
Evonics.
At Evonics, EVAUGNICPS.
Nope.
T.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Final one means
H-O-V-A.
me.
Give me an H
Throw
and
your
an
diamond.
O-V-A.
Throw your diamonds to the sky if you feel the vibe. Matt, you're at. Go ahead.
MB Vaughn.
MB Vaughn.
MPVAUGHANICSTOB.
TOB and an HOTWIRE, hotwire.com. Thanks a lot for listening, folks. If you don't like football, then and you
Go
listen
suck
to
an
all
egg.
this,
How are you hearing this right now?
if you hate football and you listen to all this, then hopefully we educated you and you learned something
Go
about football.
suck an egg.
But follow us on Twitter and tweet us any questions you may have.
an
More
egg.
stupid ass predictions coming from us.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll catch your ass down the road.
You're hitting that A on ass really hard. Well, it should be an E.
It should be. I like to do it with you.
Grammy listens to this.
It's true. Shout out to Grams.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Shout out to Scott. You jerk.
That'll be fun next time I see her.
Yeah. Awkward.
Bye.